any moment.
I wonder if that's going to change or if we'll see it there.
I think we're live
There's
now.
an unknown amount of delay. We could be live.
I think we are.
My phone says we're live.
I think we're live.
Officially, we're live. Woo! All right, we don't have a show.
Hey, Sane.
Hi. If it's not clear, it's just us three. There's nobody behind the computer.
Live. Chat said so. We're
Live. He said live.
We did it. We did it. We're here.
We've developed a new automated system for doing this with, less people, so we can just kind of throw these little talk shows on and don't have to worry about getting someone to sit in the corner and honestly kind of basically do nothing for the entire time that we're talking.
I need to somehow rig up some kind of Rube Goldberg device to turn the stream off when we're done though.
That is the funny part at the end of one of us just okay, bye, and then has to awkwardly walk away and end the stream. We do still have to manually do that.
I need to pull a little thing where a marble rolls down a rickety track and hits the space bar.
Only if the stream can hear it in the background.
Yeah,
hear the mechanism.
We could just grin.
Well, we have another
steam coming out of a coffee pot, grinding gears.
Toast pops up. We have another Rube Goldberg.
You hear someone do a
kickflip. We've got another Rube Goldberg machine for the camera that follows the original Rube Goldberg machine.
No. Once it goes off, you can just pick the camera up and run with it.
You just hear the whole time as it gets to a tedious part, you just please, come on.
We're watching the dominoes really slowly fall over
yes!
I promise we're talking about Pathfinder.
Anyway,
Pathfinder.
Wireless keyboard, we never thought of it.
It never occurred to me. I've never met her. So, anyway.
Who is she?
We're going to talk about the new playtest classes because that's a thing that we do most of the time. If there's new playtest classes. We definitely whiffed the last batch.
I'm sure they weren't important.
We do. The fact that I truly can't even remember what they were. So maybe.
Clearly they weren't that important.
Well, also,
but not this
Exemplar.
time. Yeah, not important.
Exemplar and Elementalist?
That was the last one.
No,
there
was one.
I think there was one between them. There was one.
That.
If you guys don't know, I really don't know. I know every Magic the Gathering set, so I can tell you that, but I don't know what Pathfinder things.
Get back in the tap-down closet.
It was the spirit lady that you pick a ghost friend.
Lady Dimistru.
Yes. That's the one. That's the one. She's the Pathfinder class.
I remember this. Oh, stay hydrated. I don't have water.
Oh, that's
cheers.
That was poorly considered.
We forgot the water.
That was poorly considered.
I appreciate the sentiment.
And we have no one behind the computer to bring it to us.
I knew we forgot something.
Throwing out for the boy being back faithless looting.
Drinking water was the thing we forgot. Hydration. That is. God.
We're children. We're children with no one behind that computer. We're useless.
We need Arcadis back. He needs to get us water.
We don't even have water.
We have to drink it out of the radiator. We gotta suck it out of the way.
We're functioning adults. I promise. I promise.
No, the runesmith.
Speaking of things we remembered.
Two new classes, Runesmith, Necromancer.
And only this man in the middle has actually looked at these because
I have notes.
I like going in blind. I like the experience of reading all this and just giving you my unfiltered, immediate, knee-jerk reactions.
I too would love to be lazy and not do prep.
That's what I do for secrets.
He just kind of sits down and goes, hey.
We'll figure this one out on the spot.
I got some tokens. I got a map. I don't know how we get there. Point
A, something, profit.
All right.
That's how it works.
That's how it works.
Life is a journey.
Well, Runesmith, I have impressions from Runesmith.
Okay, I don't know what it is.
So someone's like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we had a dwarf? Because dwarven magic is basically runes. And then you could have a dwarf that could craft runes in the middle of combat to go make things, do interesting, exploding, burning things. Because that's the signature art.
Are they both dwarves? I thought there were two for each of them.
No, there's a dwarf, and then there's some kind of weird magic-y rocker person they put on the front, which didn't really make a lot of sense. But then I saw the dwarf lady who's
do I have that in here?
Let me just put it, the dwarf one is the one that made it onto the thumbnail for the show,
that's
so.
fair.
I tried really hard to get the
hot see that
one, but she didn't look
good. It does, at first glance, we have no one here to pop this art. At first glance, it does absolutely look like she's playing a magical guitar.
See what I mean? See what I mean?
I understand that is not what this is. But it does, when you look at it, immediately look like a lady trying to play a magic
Like
guitar.
a little sitar.
Yeah, like
And someone at Paizo was like, we would like to go and make like this Rooney dwarfy magic-y person. And then someone else said, you should probably, since this is going to be a class, come up with other ways you can be Rooney magic-y. And so they're like, the magical Rooney bard person. And so they threw her in, and they put 1 feat in the class that lets you sing your runes instead of having to draw them.
That's silly.
And
I like that. That's
I
silly.
think it. We're here for silly.
yeah.
We have what appears at face value to be 2 hardcasters with these 2 classes, not just because of the things that they're called, but also because of the key attribute intelligence.
You would think that,
and
wouldn't
the 8
you?
plus Constitution modifier hit points. But
It's a lie.
I was gonna say Runesmith does not, on the level of fantasy, speak to me like a hardcaster, but Necromancer does.
Yeah.
You know what Runesmith operates more like? A magus or a thaumaturge. That's kind of what I
do
get
see
for it.
medium armor over there.
Yup, medium armor.
Medium armor. There's a little hit hiding in the Runesmith proficiencies.
They also get martials.
Also martial weapons. Yeah, there's a couple little nuggets in here that indicate that this might be a lad who's interested. Oh, also expert in fort. I guess they're actually both expert in fort.
They
That's
are.
surprising.
Necromancer breaks the mold. Necromancer's my favorite. That's why we're saving it for later.
Necromancer has doo-doo will. All right, well, we'll see what that does. So the Runesmith, at the heart of all communication is the word, and at the heart of all magic is the rune. Equal parts scholar and artist, you devote yourself to the study of these mystic symbols, learning to carve, etch, brand, and paint the building blocks of magic to channel powers greater than yourself.
That's a filthy lie. You're a martial striker that has magic supplementing it. Your job is to beat the crap out of people and make them explode with words.
So
During combat encounters, you make a canvas of the battlefield, tracing beneficial runes onto your allies to strengthen and empower them, while looking for opportunities to carve harmful runes onto those who oppose you, which I guess is just a thing you can do in the middle of a sword fight.
It's a graffiti class. You literally draw like burn on somebody, and then you're like, you just wait. I'm gonna set that off.
When the
And
moment
he's
is
in
right,
now.
Nothing you can do
invoke
about
your
it.
runes to bring their magic to life. So you are literally just tagging people
Yup.
and going like, I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it.
okay, so like out of combat sounds cool. Just to like leave a thing somewhere and then like a trap essentially.
Well, it's
right?
cool,
And
actually,
putting a trap on a person
During
is cool.
social encounters, your knowledge
Yes.
of magical theory, if not practice, can translate into a surprising array of facts. Even if
bonus means you get skills.
Even if you're not the most persuasive, you might be able to support a more eloquent teammate by carving runes into them while they're talking to their friends.
There's no runes that let you do that.
That's not the words that it says, but that is the translation of the words that it says.
I'm very confused. This entire thing.
The word subtle's included. I'm just unclear how you do that.
Hold
still.
You ever suddenly get a tattoo?
Keep talking. I'm gonna
Look at him. Don't look at me. Look at him.
Just a little stick and poke real quick.
You have like a sticker sheet and you just kind of like put it on the cheek while you're talking.
And then a minute later it explodes.
That's distracting. That's a okie dokie. So let's see. Let's take a look.
Do you have notes on this, on the parts you just
We're in
read?
flavor. This is Flavor Town. We haven't gotten. I cannot imagine we've gotten this stuff that Nick has notes on yet. He doesn't care about this part. He
just came with a whole sheet of paper. So I want to make sure he's.
I have
used.
notes, good sir.
Okay.
I have a list. List.
We are, again, there's some hints of the frontliner in here. We are trained in up to medium armor. We are trained in up to martial weapons. We are an expert in both fortitude and will. Just do reflex and base level trained perception. Okay.
He can look real good.
No, you can't.
You can't.
Blind as a bat.
Trained bad.
Yeah.
He's trained bad. He ain't got none eyes.
Okay.
Blind as a bat. You know what time? You know when you get expert in perception in that class?
Like
Level
not-
13.
Oh my god! He's literally blind.
He's nearsighted
He
because of
needs
all
no
the
eyes.
runes he
His
carves.
runes see for him.
Everything's up here.
He's got bifocal.
He has to install his runes over his eyes so he can see. Okay. So, alright, let's get to stuff. So, runes and their creation. You've carved the knowledge of secret runes into your mind and body. You can apply special runesmith runes onto objects and creatures. You have to know a rune to use it, and you learn runes via the runic repertoire. So you have what looks just like a pseudo spell list.
Yeah, remember back in the days of First Ed where every class had their own spell list?
We're just doing that again.
We're doing that again.
Okay, cool. I mean, I didn't hate that, but I do also see the value in just 4 traditions.
It's really nice when you just see occultism and you're like, I know what that does.
Yeah.
So, runes can be applied in one of 2 ways. A rune can be etched or traced, which are different apparently.
Marker versus tattoo needle.
Okay. An etched rune, oh yeah, this is the next sentence, is carved, inked, or branded in, though this does not damage the creature or item.
How? No.
Shut
How
up.
does it not?
Carve a rune
Explain
into a
to me how
sheet
it
of
doesn't-
paper. Sheet of paper is fine and undamaged. It says so in the book.
Like,
Just
a little
spray
dwarf
some-
just runs up
get
with a
some
knife and just kind of carves the letter S in me.
Some alcohol on
The
it.
cool S.
Change the bandages and you'll be fine.
What? Magic.
Your magic can sustain up to 2 etched runes at a time, and you can etch any number of runes up to this maximum, which is again 2.
It's on a table. It gets better
You can
eventually.
etch during your daily preparation.
Correct.
And when you spend 10 minutes.
Yep.
So with a 10-minute downtime, you can redo both of your runes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And they're permanent buffs that you can go and
these
do.
sound like they're long term. As you increase the level, the maximum amount increases, obviously. They remain until they're used or removed, or you etch more than your maximum and it replaces the old ones. A traced rune is drawn lightly in dust, light, or a similar fleeting medium. It is 1 to 2 actions.
Right. You just like make a symbol, like you just you make a square, and then you take mental
You
damage.
never know, like,
That's exactly what we're gonna do. Yeah,
It's like a rave. You swing your glow stick around
Okay,
and
you
it
know,
lights in the air, or a sparkler.
So it is
cool,
1
man.
or 2 actions. It's 1 action if you are drawing on something within arm's reach. It is 2 actions to draw on something 30 feet away.
Ew.
Like,
You remember when you were in school and they had the expo markers and you would just kind of click the markers together and you would just do that and you were across a battlefield just doodling.
that's the runesmith, baby. Okay.
No, it's like the anime thing where they do an attack and like the characters show up behind them. You do that. You
This
throw
is
those
just a
words at
stand.
people.
All right, so fair
It's a
enough.
stand.
You like-
You're a stand user now.
Invoking runes is 1 action. So tracing gives you your quick runes. It is obviously manipulate and concentrate. And invoking is neither. Invoking has absolutely no tags that would make things happen. So
I think
it's like
you
the
technically
shield stone.
have to talk to make it
is,
work, but
it
that's
does not have the audible. It doesn't have manipulate. It doesn't unless it says in the text. It does say this is Paizo land. The first 10 words are flavor, and they don't matter.
And they don't mean anything.
You utter the name, ignore that. A rune within 30 feet. Nothing about the tags or the actual rules say you have to be able to talk. So silence, you're fine. Did
they just forget to put it there then maybe?
Playtest.
It is playtest.
It's playtest, yeah.
You just think really hard, and then it works. The rune
You
places
utter
power
it
using
inside.
its effect.
It's an inside thought.
It's an inside utterance.
So the thing here that's interesting is that invoke is 1 action, and the 1 action invokes any number of your active runes. So you can have your 2 etched ones, which you can set up in advance, either on yourself, your friends, or items, and then you can trace. There's nothing that implies there is a limit. It's just the fact that traced runes only last until the end of your next turn.
However many actions
There's
you
no
got.
actual limit to
Yep.
how many you could theoretically trace, like 3 this turn and 2 next turn, and then
Then
invoke
boom.
7 runes.
Yep.
Is it only 1 action to trace?
If
Yep,
it's
if
within
it
arm's
next to you.
reach, it's 1 action.
Okay.
It's 2 just makes it up to 30. 2, you have to take an extra action to tackle the extra
Oh, the
markers
extra
together.
markers,
Okay.
I mean, that in itself I don't hate. Because
is kinda
that's
cool.
a
This is
fun
like
idea to like prep
Set
that
up and
much.
prep, and then
Yeah.
just hit the go button, and a
Yeah,
1,000 things happen, and you
Yeah.
have like your bomb turn. That does sound cool.
This is the equivalent of I forget what the class is where you just do the Kamehameha and you charge the attack. For,
That's just
like,
a
That's the
spell.
spell.
That's just a
Yeah, so
divine
you-
spell.
yeah.
Like,
There's Divine Spell, there's Horizon Thunder Sphere!
that's not where we're looking for. What is it? It's not Horizon Thundersphere. That's the
That's the
Spirit
primal
Bomb.
one. Yeah, it's
That's the
Spirit
Spirit
Bomb.
Bomb.
Yeah, the
Inner
Kamehameha-
Radiance
it's Torrent.
Torrent.
That's
Man
it.
shot, the
Thank
man
you.
who knows everything. Inner Radiance Torrent is the Kamehameha wave.
Okay.
Ah.
So it's the same idea as that. Is you're just you hold
Right.
off to do something cool later.
So it's a bunch of effects. Obviously, what I printed are just the base rules, and then I have the entire thing in here. I still want to do all the core looking on my phone. So if we want to get into the list of like what runes can theoretically do, we'd have to delve into here because that's getting into like their unique spell list.
Yeah. It's a cool little. It's a short list though, but it's cool.
Okay. So runes are magical effects. Some have specific traditions, like primal or arcane or whatever. If it doesn't, it can be written in any tradition. Any runes that require saving throw use your class DC, which is legally distinct from your spell DC, in that you don't have one.
Nope, you can't
You are
cast
not
spells.
technically casting.
Nope.
This is a different thing. None of this is spells, and none of it requires a spell DC. But they are magical.
Yeah, they can't be counteracted.
I guess they can't be counteracted because you're not casting a spell.
Yeah.
Anything triggered on casting a spell wouldn't affect
I
it.
think you can counteract the runes though.
Yeah, you can like try to dispel because they are a
Yeah.
magical item, so you can dispel the runes, but you can't like.
Is it dispel
You can't,
or would you
like-
disarm?
You could. I mean, they're magical runes.
No, you'd have to
dispel them.
counter out
If it
with a
doesn't
dispel
say
or
you
something.
can get rid of them, you'd have to dispel them.
Okay.
The runes aren't spells. Some things that affect spells also affect runes. If you're restricted from casting spells, or things that protect against spells, those all apply to runes. So the one that comes immediately to mind is every single monster ever made has +1 or more to effects against spells. Every single creature in every bestiary Paizo's printed since 2nd edition came out has a bonus against spells. So they would also apply to runes. Any rune used the same level as you are. I don't feel like we had to spell that out, but we're here to make sure they can't be misinterpreted. I can appreciate just hard, direct
You're
rules.
getting around the Airbud rules. If the rules didn't say it had to be this.
Yeah,
so,
there you go.
gotta get
Doesn't
around
say you
that.
can't play a dog.
Yeah. Didn't say I couldn't ruin a dog.
And then you have your repertoire, which is basically a spell list. Here's another neat little secret hint to the fact that this is actually a frontliner. They also have shield block.
Yep.
By default.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like the signature, you are a marshal of reaction. You
Yep.
can block with the shield.
Okay.
Then I believe after that's kind of like the core essence of it.
Yep.
Then as you level up, you're gonna get some extra stuff. I'm just looking through the things they get just passively by leveling. There are some interesting things in here. Notably, starting at 7th level. Oh, I guess that's just cool flavor on weapon specialization, I suppose.
That's exactly what that is. Yeah.
It looked cool
what
at
is
first.
it?
I
It's
thought it
weapon
was an
spec,
addition,
but you
but
have
then I
to have a
realized
rune on your
I
weapon.
don't get weapon spec.
Oh.
So everyone, like all marshals, basically get something called weapon specialization, which generally at 7-ish, you just do more damage. Like it's just like +2 damage to hit. And they get that, but it's worse because you have to have a rune on your weapon. So if you're in a situation where for whatever reason you don't have your weapon, you just don't have weapon specialization anymore.
Well, you could trace a rune on your weapon. Real
Yeah,
quick. It
I
I
doesn't
guess that's
say
true. You have
etched.
tracing. That's true.
Takes 10
Yeah.
minutes to etch it in.
Well,
there,
it literally says a striking rune. Like that's a real rune. That's like an actual rune
Can you
that
not just-
existed
can-
before the runesmith
Can you
class.
not make a striking
Unless
rune
they
as
can
the
make
rune
striking
guy?
runes.
So-
which maybe they. I don't know. I haven't looked at the rune list.
Yeah, well, so there isn't a striking rune on the rune list. The rune lists are actually separate and distinct from like the runes that we know.
Okay.
But you do have an ability in there where you can basically like automatically put those runes on there. They have a lot of like gold saving.
I just thought this was
abilities.
an addition to weapon spec, and then realized it was instead of weapon spec.
It is
So that's
instead
not
just
as
weapon
cool,
spec.
That's just weapon spec.
Sadly.
So there's everything they get from leveling up just looks normal. There's nothing fancy in here.
Yeah,
so their level up stuff is baseline.
I will say that where they top out is actually kind of interesting because they wind up at getting master in their weapons at 13, which is pretty early.
good.
That's
Yeah,
basically
that's
on
martial.
par with
That's
a lot
good
of
martial
marshals.
progression, yeah.
They also get legendary in their class progression DC, which is usually what you only see with casters. So their runes are set up to be caster leveled hard
Yes.
to be able to resist.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense because it is basically their spells.
Yeah,
so
that's
it
kind of
makes
their
sense they
thing.
would get legendary.
Their saves, unfortunately, are very anemic. You get Master and Fort, everything else caps out at Expert. So you have save progression like a wizard, which is unfortunate.
That is rough.
And with only 8
It's
HP per
interesting.
level.
Wait, so they never get Master Will?
Nope.
Their will starts at expert
And
at 1 and
stays
is
there
still expert
forever.
at 20? Okay, that's interesting.
Yep.
They literally never get better.
Don't
Nope.
need it better than that. Just need more rocks to scratch into.
I get the feeling someone might have forgotten about that.
They
Maybe.
do also get Master Armor proficiency, which is somewhat like that's pretty martial too.
Did I miss that?
That's at 19, yeah.
It's at 19. You get it
They
at
get
19,
legendary
yeah.
class DC and Master Armor DC, armor proficiency, which is kind of impressive.
Not bad.
for-
You don't get it till 19, but that's not bad. That's not bad. They have the defense. They have the kit to kind of be up front, although their health's a little low.
They're 8 base health. That's hurting.
And the other problem, I think,
Boo bad saves also hurting.
yeah,
But they get everything else.
well, the problem also is that you need int to make your spells go well. And if you're also trying to fight as someone who's been in the situation where I'm fighting in melee and also casting spells at the same time, and I'd like both of them to work well,
I'm going to the PDF.
your extra abilities get very sparse. You need to put points into int, you need to put points into strength, you need to put points into con. Maybe you've got some points left over in dex because you do only have medium armor. So you're gonna have a hard time getting your 18s in the places you want, or I'm sorry, your +4s. And yes, very mad. That's exactly very multi-ability
They're
dependent.
gonna want a lot of stuff. Okay, so I just pulled up on Demi Plane for some examples. I'm not gonna read all these, but just some of the runes that they have. And boy, a lot of these are rune 1. There are a lot of level 1 runes. I guess you do start knowing 4.
Well,
so like they need a decent pool.
There's 3 tiers of runes. There's level 1 runes,
1,
I
9,
think
and
level
17.
9, and then 17.
And there are 2 level 17 runes in the playtest.
Yes.
So we'll look at a couple level 1s to see kind of idea what you start with, and then as is tradition for playtest, we'll look at the big ones and see what they do too. So
The big one's actually kind of cool. I like them.
all the runes have names,
That's nice.
which is kind of interesting.
Well, you gotta
the first-
say them to make
The
them
first
blow
one
up.
is Autral, Rune of Fire. These are like Witcher sigils. Like Autral, Esvadir, Holtrick, Marcel, Olgenex, like they all
These
have a
are-
name,
yeah.
and they are Witcher sigils. Like,
And the name...
which is cool, that's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
The
I was
non-derogatory Witcher sigils non-derogatory.
I was
Like,
playing The Witcher right before I came over here, and I loved it then. So I loved it now too.
I wonder if I knew if like some kind of Slavic language, if I'd understand what the runes did just by the names, or if they just made it all up.
Autral, Rune
Oh,
of
it's
Fire.
Be nice though.
This rune is sometimes put on a stone in a hearth to insert a fire does not go out in the night,
cool.
enabling even stone to burn. So you can put it on a creature or an object. Oh, so the runes both do something just from being in a place,
Yep.
and then also when invocated.
Yep.
So just putting the rune on a creature lowers their fire resistance by 6.
Okay.
Thank you, Severin.
6 is, first of all, hilariously massive at level 1. That is gone. At level 1, it is gone.
Yeah.
Dorsefet's got our back. Thank you. They made them up.
It's nothing. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I was like, we got the expert. Level 1 things are resistant 5 to stuff. So that's
Not when
just
that's
gone.
on it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when you invocate it, it's 2d6 fire damage. Reminder, with Trace Runes, this is one action. So functionally, your level 1 strike is 2d6 damage.
Ah, you gotta invoke it though.
Right, but you can stack several of them.
Sure.
I mean,
Well-
there's a setup action, but like at this point, almost everybody has a setup action. This is like your devise a stratagem.
You
or
can't
your-
stack multiples of the same rune.
Can you not?
Mm-mm.
I know it said when you were doing the runes that
It must be
there
a
were
feat.
some that if multiple copies that wouldn't affect. Was that inherent that multiple copies just purely do not affect?
Believe so, yeah, because they have diacritic runes, which you can use to upgrade runes you've already put on there. So, like, there's like a Pargon, for the lack of a better term for it, for those of you who remember Eternal Darkness. You can just put make this rune boomy bigger.
So you can't have
Ah,
multiple of the same
yes.
room on one thing, or just
You
multiple
can
same room
invoke.
in
Okay,
general?
On one
creatures
thing.
that would be affected by multiple copies of the same specific rune are. It's a rider on invoke rune.
Mhm.
Are only affected once. Okay, so you cannot. Okay, so you actually can't put like 2 of them and then pop them twice.
Nope.
But it's 2d6 fire damage, basic fortitude save, and dazzled on a critical failure. So that's just, this is a cantrip. This is a cantrip that, I mean, so cantrips are normally 2 actions, but this is a melee cantrip for 2 actions.
Correct.
Ranged for 3, because it's 2 to make the expo marker stack, and then 1 to set them on fire.
So is the invoke one action per thing, or can you do one invoke
One
and
action
set off a
evoke
bunch of them?
every rune you have if you
Within
want to.
30 feet of you.
Within
You
30
can-
feet.
Yeah.
So I guess the idea of you having heavy armor is for you to run in there quickly, just touch everybody,
Medium
and then
armor.
leave.
But then the problem is,
Yes.
it's 1 action per person you want to put a rune on. And then 1 action if you have to move between them. And then 1 action to set them all off.
There are feats that let
I'm
you
sure we'll get...
better economy, but that's
Yeah.
basically it in a nutshell.
Okay, Esvadir.
Oh, and you're also
rune-
martial, so you're expected to swing your hammer at things.
Can you hit somebody and then that put a rune on them?
Maybe that might be
There's a
I'm
feat
sure
for
that's
that.
a feat.
Okay, that feels like the
no
kind of
universe,
the
that's
way.
not a feat.
Yeah.
Esvadir, rune of whetstones. Drawn on a piercing or slashing weapon. This serrated rune, when placed on a blade, ensures it will never go dull. On a successful strike, it does 2 persistent bleed per damage die.
Yep.
Okay, so that's
pretty good.
pretty good. That's because that's not an invocation. That's just the rune is on your weapon. You start your day with your little short sword. You're level 1. You do what? D6 plus 4 damage if you somehow got to 18 strength, and 2 persistent bleed, just passively at all times.
Yep.
That's solid.
That's nothing to scoff at.
No, that's
Persistent
super
damage?
solid, yeah.
Markedly worse against people that are not player characters than player characters, but I mean, it's still damage because the way the dying exists. And then Invocation, the essence of sharpness is released outwards from the rune.
Audible sharpness.
This is literally
They couldn't say it.
it's waterfowl dance. You do the thing and it's just like
You're already dead.
2d6 slashing damage to a creature adjacent to the rune bearer. Literally, you just do the thing, and then just the sword
slash.
slashes come out,
Yep.
and they take 2d6 damage. Oh, that's funny. Okay. All right. Let's do one more level 1. Corey, I'm gonna give you names. You tell me what one speaks to your soul.
Okay.
Holdstreak,
No.
Marcel, Olginex,
We're getting close.
Pluna,
That's the one.
Pluna. Rune of Illumination.
Oh, you
I
picked the
chose
lamest
I
one.
bet it's a
Go
light
back to the
spell.
other one. Go back to the previous one.
Olginex.
Yeah, that's
the
the one.
Rune of Coward's Bane.
Better. Okay.
Probably not a light spell. So
Oh, my choices are flashlight or a coward's bane. Yeah, let me get the Duracell.
this rune resembles. It's drawn on a shield specifically. While the shield is raised, it gives you a +1 status bonus to AC against physical ranged attacks. So you get +1 AC for having your shield up, +2 against ranged attacks.
What's a physical range attack?
So
Is
it
there a different
has
type
to
of
be
range
like an
attack?
arrow or
arrows
something,
or
not like a
bolts or
spell.
thrown rocks
like,
or-
yeah.
Okay, not like magical.
Telekinetic
Yeah,
projectile,
it's gotta be
I
something
would
your
say.
shield could feasibly block. Yeah.
But you can't block with telekinetic projectile. Wait, can you? No, you can't.
Projectile's an
It's
attack
It's an
roll.
attack roll, so yeah,
tactical
you
does
could.
physical damage.
Yeah, you
block it.
could, yeah.
It's got to do bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing.
Gotcha.
In the invocation, the rune creates an illusion in the minds of all creatures adjacent to the rune bearer
That's really funny.
that lasts for 1 round. The illusion is of a large wall blocking all paths away from the rune bearer. I'm not locked in here with you. You are locked in here with me. Creatures affected by the invocation can't move further from the rune bearer for 1 round
It's for,
until they disbelieve the illusion by using an action and succeeding against your class DC.
That's fun.
is it fun? It's for all those times when you're in a
You
Pathfinder
literally
fight and
just
the
drop
enemies
a cage
run away
on
from
them.
you. Like, because the enemies run away from you in
That happens
Pathfinder
all
fights
the
all the
time
time.
in Pathfinder.
So, I mean, this guy doesn't have to worry about that. You're 8 hit point per level caster fighter
Yeah,
guy.
your tiny little 8 HP int-based nerd can lock the giant greater Barghest in a pit fight.
Now-
This will go great for him.
Now, I will say that you can carve these runes on your friend's stuff.
That's
and-
true.
yeah. And you
put
can
on your
set it off
actual
on
fight.
them.
But what's really funny, no, this is actually great crowd control because then the Barghest has to spend at least 1 action murdering you before he can move away. So, like,
And then it picks your body up and can go wherever it wants.
Yeah,
It's
just
not
kidding.
going away from you.
it intrinsically knows that the walls are linked to you.
It is a domain expansion. You just put them in your domain with you. But it's a sure hit on you.
Oh,
you
no.
go down.
All right.
Just read one more of the diacritics. There should be a diacritic rune in there that will modify an existing one.
Does diacritic say diacritic? Oh, it does. Okay. Oh, let's go. This is the first one that I found. Inf hyphen.
To the nth degree.
The nth degree. Diacritic rune of corruption. Usage drawn on a rune. So there are stackable runes.
It's accent marks. You gotta put an umlaut.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's just an umlaut. There's a little tilde over the end and there's a Y sound at the end. Okay.
As they're getting hit with a rune, they go, oh, it's fancy.
This set of angular accents around the base runes channels the essence of fiendish corruption. The base rune gains the unholy trait, as does any damage it deals. If applied to a holy creature, they're stupid, don't do that. And, well, I mean, but you could also just, do it on a bad guy. So, am I missing that there is absolutely nothing an enemy can do about being doodled on.
Unless they want to counteract it.
There is no attack roll, there is no saving throw, you can just Jigglypuff them up and there is nothing that they can do about it.
Nope. The attack roll comes later when you try to blow it up on them. Then they get a save.
That's true, yeah, then they get saves when you blow it up. Like,
yeah.
But most of these, a lot of these do stuff just for being on them. So like a holy creature is enfeebled 1. So like you're fighting anything holy, you just, as one action, they're now permanently enfeebled 1.
Yep.
No save, nothing they can absolutely.
You have a can of spray paint, just psst, what you gonna do about it?
My eye!
I would also be enfeebled if that happened. So I get that.
So, Invocation. When the base rune is invoked, it burns away in an unholy black fire that lingers on its target. In addition to the base rune's normal effect, the target also takes 1d4 persistent fire damage. This is a 9th level rune. I'm gonna need you to give me a little more than 1d4 persistent damage.
Maybe they meant 11d4.
This is a 9th level rune. Like,
yeah,
we have a level 1 rune that deals just 2. This is 0.5 better than that.
So,
yeah, it's so
that's terrible.
The individual runes are not very impressive. However,
okay, well hold on.
If you stack them,
continue, but I gotta hold on when you're done.
Okay, all right.
I think it's just the opposite.
I think it's the opposite of hold on.
Keep going. Continue.
I also have thoughts.
So the basic building blocks of these things are in and of themselves not too terribly impressive. There's some cool things in there, like the bleed at low levels, and you start getting up to higher level stuff. There's actually some cool things where you can kind of do like a speed bonus that you can pop to get a short range teleport, or in some cases a very long range teleport, but only to you. So like you could like pull a friend back to you if you rune them, and then you burn it. I don't know how you burn it if they're like on the other side of the planet, but even if they were that far away, they can still come to you. And there's, but really where you start getting some crazy synergies is where you start working with their feats, because their feats will do things in addition to giving you like etching economy, where
it can
like,
also be used to walk forward.
Fast. It's like you remember Heelys?
I do.
You get finally is Heelys.
Ever wish your Pathfinder character had Heelys? You could scoot up on your Heelys. But they do get things where if you burn runes of opposite traditions, they like explode extra much, and you can get extra damage. Okay. And you can like there have been some great like math hammery people online. Oh, that really plucked me into a fandom, didn't it? They've mathed up.
Out yourself.
Yeah, I did. I totally did. They mathed up like how you could get optimum explosion damage, and it's stupid how much damage you can work out. So if you build up your little tower of runic Jenga blocks.
So hold on, because while it does take you 9 levels to get to a whopping 1d4 damage, that then proceeds to scale like freaking crazy. Because every 2 levels it adds another d4, which on persistent is a little bananas, because you're gonna end up at 6d4 persistent damage, which is kind of a lot for persistent damage.
Yeah, for level 20 creatures have
6d4 that's just passive. Like
yeah, persistent,
continuously
right?
passive. That's burning like 5 to 10% of their health off a turn. Like
it's not bad.
That's not bad, and that's like an on level creature. Like if you're fighting mooks or something like that, they're just gonna like crumble.
12d4 on a crit too.
12d4 on a crit fail.
You get more persistent on a crit fail?
You do not know.
Maybe
it just does d4.
Okay, well, fair enough.
It's still nothing. It's still good.
It's still pretty good.
Yeah.
It's still pretty good. Nothing wrong with it.
This doesn't appear to even have. This one doesn't even have a save. I imagine the save is like
the save is whatever else you. If that's a
it's
die
a
credit.
writer on whatever.
Yeah,
okay,
so they get a save on
I guess it would probably end up being a basic save, which theoretically on a crit fail, be a zillion.
Oh yeah.
So this class is really combos and Lego pieces of you're just kind of figuring out what pieces work the best together.
But you're also a marshal.
Yes. You're hitting people as you're like building a Lego set that will explode.
My favorite feat in the entire class is actually you like reverse etch a rune on your weapon so that when you hit somebody with it, you stamp the rune into them. And now you've traced a rune on them while you've hit them with the weapon.
Yeah, well, we're not looking at feats. And the feats do give usually a lot of like the tools that enable like how a class can play.
Yeah.
Because we're not going through all of it. This is like a 24-page playtest.
Yeah.
We're not going to read all the runes. We're reading like 5 of them. Speaking of, big boy runes now. 17th level runes. We have Iwan, the Elf Gate Key, and Rovan, Seal of the Dead Vault. Both are drawn on a creature. I'm gonna read the Age of Ashes one. So this is like this. I win the Elfgate key. This circular rune is the key to the Ayudara network of elf gates that stretch across the stars. Once per turn, when the rune bearer takes a stride action, they instead just teleport. That's the passive, just for having it on
cool.
you. And
Just Dragon Ball Z instant transmission yourself.
Yep, you
just
flash
all
step
around.
across the
And
battlefield.
this is literally the thing Nick was just talking about. Invocation, teleport the rune bearer to a location adjacent to any of your other runes.
Oh.
It's not even just you, it's anywhere you have a rune.
So you can just set up
you
runes
can
all over the
theoretically make the Torment Nexus and just put a rune in the middle and then slap somebody with this and send them to the timeout. You can just make the prison box that has a permanently etched rune that doesn't have to do anything. It can just be a smiley face. But you can now slap people with this and teleport them directly to jail.
It's very funny to think to teleport the big boss.
You can actually,
to like a room with a futon and like a Super Nintendo. And just be like, go in there.
Have fun. Go to your room.
Oh, it gets even better. You don't even have to spend the rune.
Nope.
If you have the ability to cast a sigil cantrip, you can teleport people next to the sigil.
Yep.
So you don't have to do anything. You just put a sigil on a rock, throw it in the Mariana Trench, and then just teleport everyone you meet down there.
Hi, nice to meet you.
They get a will save. That's it. No incapacitation tag, nothing. It's just like, hey, you failed? Gone.
Gone.
Next fight, please. Whap. Gone.
Do they repeat like if you do it again, do they have to do the will save again? Like is there anything stopping you from doing this every
Absolutely nothing. This isn't broken at all. You can, okay, so here is, no, we walk into the final battle and he just goes, whap, gone. Anyway, here's the artifact. Let's go. We did it, everyone. We saved the world.
You just have a rock with a string around it hanging over an active volcano. And
I do.
you just walk up to anybody. Be like, hi, nice to meet you. And just,
I do look forward to the final dungeon being 17 whap bonks into a final boss that you touch and also send to prison. I just like to imagine this
created a
slowly.
villain.
No loot. What do you need loot for? For what? So you can more effectively teleport them to the void of space? Like, what? I already launched a tiny pebble into beyond orbit. It's just floating amongst the stars. It's slowly pooping out my enemies. Like,
this space junk of Galarian is just dead bosses.
the trail of that comet is just the frozen corpses of everyone who looked at me funny over the last week. And I hit him with my no-no stamper and sent him to prison. Like,
Who tried taking over a village, anyone who looked at me wrong, if they didn't tip well enough,
I
they're going up
cannot
there.
stress enough, no incapacitation trait, just a will save, fellas.
God, it hurts. It hurts. I'm laughing too much.
I would like to be hasted, please. Strike, invoke, strike, invoke. Yeah, I get 2 chances a turn. Just send him to Brazil.
Stupid immortal snail's never gonna get me.
Right to Portugal.
Yes.
So that's gonna get play tested out. Anyway, this is. Oh wow, that's possibly the worst thing.
You could do like in the, was it Thor Ragnarok where Doctor Strange just puts Loki in like a portal and he just falls for 30 minutes. Like you could just have 2 runes kind of like next to each other and just have them keep going back and forth.
What you do is you go find the person you dislike the most, offer them a boon, a simple rune that makes them slightly better, and then teleport every asshole you meet for the rest of your life directly on top of them.
You put 1 rune on 1 very angry dragon, and then you just send everyone to the dragon.
Dragon just winds up leveling up from the constant. All of your enemies go there, and then the dragon gets the experience for beating them all.
Can we
Inadvertently
have
triggers
Spears of
on.
Annihilation in Pathfinder? Can we just skip all the crap and just make a garbage disposal? Can we just...
I think the camera's slightly moving.
It's possible. I mean, it is all the way over there, so I don't know.
I know,
We
I've
might be.
definitely been
We might
Oh, maybe
honestly
you've been
be
drifting.
drifting.
I definitely look at the camera. It looks
we're
worse than
actually
me.
drifting.
There we go.
There
We're
we go.
scooting while we laugh and lose our
Oh,
minds.
Sorry, we're having whimsy and fun.
So
over
that's
here.
broken. Anyway, the other one, it took us 5 seconds. I don't know. I mean, like, I get the idea is good, but, like, this needs at least the incapacitation traits. Like,
Or
But the problem is-
maybe
Has
like
to be
only
a
works on a
willful.
willing ally.
Yeah.
Like
The
that would
problem
be
is,
nice.
Yeah, even with the incapacitation trait, it's a critical failure is still a regular failure. Like you could still, they just roll a 1, idiot, and then Dahak goes to the volcano. So, like this is. I
Bye,
don't know.
Dahak, to the sun with you.
That one might just have to be a friends only. I don't know how immediately you level 19 to 17, so close, but like beginning of book 6 rather than the end. All right, Rovan.
Everybody in all of Promise. You're
Gone.
smug
gone.
ass. Get out. Get out.
Send him to Brazil. Rovan, Seal of the Dead Vault. This mighty jagged rune is just one of several that keeps the destroyer sealed in his prison, deep in Galarian's core. The rune bearer takes a 20-foot penalty to speed.
Oh.
Don't put this on
Wow.
something you care about.
20-foot penalty to land speed, 40-foot penalty to all other speeds. Gentle reminder, there is literally no way to prevent this from being put on you.
Nope.
Secondary gentle reminder, doesn't matter what level you are, most stuff is speed like 25 or 30. I guess that's why I had to reach up and adjust this, is because we had moved so
we
far
kept
that I was
drifting.
out of it. And instead of thinking like, perhaps I'm moving, I went, oh, my mic is off, and just moved
Yeah.
it.
Oh, that's weird. Why the mic
I was pretty
move?
sure I was pointed at me. Oh well.
Only one way to fix this one.
Reminder, again, absolutely no way to prevent this being applied to you. And even at max level, most stuff is speed 25 or 30. Like things that don't have, I mean, there's probably like more stuff that's fast, but they're pretty good about not giving stuff that doesn't have a reason to be speed 60 quintillion, speed 60 quintillion. Minus 20 is you can't move to most enemies.
It's pretty brutal.
Minus 40 to all other speeds, so this just deactivates any creature that
Do
flies.
that,
Yeah.
and then
They're
push them off a boat. They're just going down.
This just straight up turns off anything that flies.
The funny
They're
thing
just
is, like, the
gone.
fly people can still take fly actions.
Sure
They just can't
can't.
move, so they just flap their little wings.
If a creature's fly speed's reduced to 0, it cannot take the fly action.
Oh, never mind.
Literally can. You immediately plummets to the earth. They can't even take arrest to fall. They can't even try to grab a ledge. They hard bait that for some reason. They're just like, nah, you're in the ground. The ground. All right.
So our two options are fully stop someone from
We have
moving,
not gotten to
or
the
just put them across
This is
the
not
world.
the invocation. This is just the passive effect.
This is just a spray paint in your face.
This is
dude.
the freebie. This is one action, no save. Invocation. The ground in a 10-foot emanation around the rune bearer becomes difficult terrain permanently, and the rune bearer must attempt a fortitude saving throw as the earth around it attempts to send it to jail. And if they succeed, they're slowed for 1 round. If they fail, they're slowed 2 for 1 round. If they critically fail, they're slowed 2, restrained, blinded, and petrified if they can't escape in 3 rounds. Over the course of a year, a small hill forms around them. I'm not making this up. Hiding the buried prisoner. At the top of the hill, a stone with the image of this rune still stands.
It becomes beautiful. You make a beautiful little memoriam for like the goblin that got swallowed there a year ago. This ruins ecosystems. Like, what do you just, base alone permanently makes it difficult terrain.
Why are both of these runes
ruins?
super prison? Like, what, is that all I can think of for high-level runes was they are removed from existence immediately?
Yup.
Like, it's,
Can you use them both at the same time? Can you teleport somebody instantly to hill prison?
one action invokes as many runes as you want. You can
Bam.
send them. You can send them to the hill in space. Like this sure doesn't require them to have ground. A 10-foot emanation of difficult space, some unexpected rough air that backs its seatbelt sign
The
turns
fabric
on.
of reality warps around them, and then there's one stone where there's clearly a wrinkle in the folds of time and
Just forms
space.
a nugget.
We're a long way from
We're
too persistent
making
bleed.
Pokeballs. This is just the Pokeball.
At least there's somewhere for a family to grieve. You know?
It comes with its own grave. It's perfect.
It's amazing.
All right, so
So far you've put grave makers out of business, and the other one puts trains out of business.
great news to everyone who was sad about the fact that Pathfinder 1, he didn't just turn, Pathfinder 2, he didn't immediately descend into a savor death extravaganza. We're so back. Nothing but savor deaths here, baby. Like,
Oh my god.
We're so back.
I like how insane they always get at the end.
Yeah.
Remember when this started with a flashlight, and now you can.
Remember when the elementalist turned into the sun and revived everyone that had died within the last year or something insane?
It's funny.
Oh god. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna this time before we get into Necromancer, I'm gonna pull up the Necromancer playtest because I'm sure we're gonna have to look at a variety of funny skeletons. But that's the
notes
RuneSmith.
you had for
Before
RuneSmith?
we move, oh yeah, you got any notes you wanted to hit there?
I mean, I hit most of them.
On?
We kind of went through kind of how runes work, how you can, if you basically want to go make yourself into a marshal, there's runes for that kind of like buff you up to kind of make up for your lack of basically everything except for hit points. You're always going to be a little bit squishy. Fire and lightning attack runes, you can stack those, so not with themselves, but with each other. So if you want to double stack
it just said like literally the
damaging
same
runes,
spell. So it sounds like even if you had multiple different fire runes, you
yeah,
could use them.
yeah, and there's like intensity runes, which are a diacritic that gets you plus into damage, so you can get like a little bit more damage on top of that. It's like an extra die, kind of. So like there's little ways that you can kind of like kick yourself up. And the biggest thing about RuneSmith, none of these abilities use any resources.
Yeah, they are all just infinite.
It's like kineticist all over again.
Yeah, this is very kineticist.
Yeah.
Especially with the ability to take an extra action and have range. And I would be kind of surprised if we don't end up with a feat that gives you even more range.
There is one where, like, it's really cumbersome, though, but you can basically get, like, a 60-foot explosion on them, but you have to hit them first.
So,
yeah, it's also
there will
just
be a lot
yeah.
more when it actually comes out. This is like a small sampling. I really like the idea, but boy, I sure hate both those 17 level runes, but, like... I like the idea of the class is really interesting. It's kind of like Magus and Kineticist had a baby. And it's a pretty freaking cool baby, honestly.
It's a cool concept. I really like it. I think the execution's a little wonky. It could use with some focusing and definitely like less insta-death, screw you.
The challenge you're going to run into, I think, is trying to find a balance between... this is me making assumptions now. It seems like obviously the gameplay you want is to like spend a turn or two of prep, like you said at the very beginning, to put a bunch of runes out, and then you get the maximum value and the pop everything 10,000 Tron. Fights in Pathfinder are not frequently long.
Nope.
They're not frequently extended battles. And when they are, usually there are a lot of hard left turns.
They're short and lethal.
Yeah, so I feel like especially even as you get higher level along, you get out of the level 1 meme zone, that's going to be like harder and harder to do, even with stuff that enables action economy. But that is very much balanced by the fact that everything just happens, which is insane.
This seems to work best if you have some prep of some kind before you get into a fight. Like
Have
if
your
you know
X.
where somebody's coming in.
That's
like,
true.
If you know where the final boss is and you're able to pull them out, you can set up a whole room to just completely ignite before they walk in.
They have to walk in
Maybe,
2
but,
turns.
Yeah,
your
tracers only last a
tracings-
round.
Yeah, your traces only last till the end of your next round.
And
So
edge
they'll
runes
expire.
take
Well, the
10
carving
minutes.
ones, can you do the same things but as carvings?
Yeah,
or
edge
no?
rune. Well,
Or
Etch
runes?
runes you're hard limited on.
yeah, well,
Okay.
but they are the same runes though.
Mm-hmm.
They're the same runes. They just take 10 minutes to set up.
Right.
But it's the same. So like theoretically, yeah. But most of the ones that look like they do damage have to be put on the target to do damage. I don't think you can. I mean, there probably is something that just makes like you put it on a rock and the rock explodes, but it looks like it's kind of put it on the guy directly, and then the guy explodes.
Yeah.
I'm thinking even if it's like, case by case, we can make up combats all day. But it's like if you're going into like a fairly small room and the runesmith is kind of near the entrance, then they could set it up on a wall or something to blow up as the person.
Well, that's the
walks
thing
in.
is they don't. That's not how they work.
Can you not put it on? Do you have to put it on a living thing, or can you put it on anything?
Almost all the damage runes you put on the person.
Yeah.
They're not like. It's not like the rune is not a bomb. The rune causes the thing it's on to catch fire.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm completely wrong and misunderstood everything that happened for the last 30 minutes. now I'm here. Now I get it.
Gordon has a good point. It's weird it's called RuneSmith after they just completely renamed spell levels to spell ranks to stop the confusion with like level and spell level, and then named a class RuneSmith, and he uses runes. Not the runes that you know about, not the runes we already had. Those are different runes.
Yeah.
These are runes, those are runes. And those are different.
Yeah.
And he doesn't craft runes. He traces runes, because crafting runes is a different thing. And anyway, that's a crafting
Traces
check.
and etches.
And that takes like days. This thing, he etches runes. I know it says that you etch runes onto your weapon, but like you etch a crafted rune onto your weapon. He doesn't itch. That's a rune stone that you etch onto your sword. He's etching his rune onto your sword differently.
Without a runestone.
Without a rune stone. And it also only takes 10 minutes.
Runestone came out in 2007, right? Thanks, guys.
I was hoping Nick was gonna pick up whatever this bit was because I didn't see it.
I forget the name of the game. You play it all the time. RuneScape, that's the one.
It was supposed to be RuneScape.
Yeah, that was it. God, they call me the funny one. Did I earn that title?
I thought you were going for Hearthstone and just got it completely wrong. No,
I don't know everything about Hearthstone.
RuneScape. Is what we don't know anything about RuneScape either, clearly.
You're in 2007.
Arcade is also, I thought you were trying for Hearthstone. I thought it was a Hearthstone bit.
Oh, man.
So the Necromancer.
Well, have a good night, everybody.
All right, let's go Necromancer. Switch my notes.
Oh, I see that you printed these ones.
I had a lot more thoughts on
I see you
Necromancer.
hastily scribbled some Rune Man things and then have printed 2 full pages for Necromancer.
I had a
Is
separate
this an Excel sheet?
This is an Excel sheet.
Excellent choice.
I had a separate tab for the Runesmith, and I realized, meh, and then I just put.
He's, I don't care.
I don't
enough.
care that much about it.
He gets pencil.
RuneScape was 2001. I got it all.
It's all the distant past.
2007 Scape is what you're thinking.
It's
Yeah.
all the distant
Which
past
is,
for Corey.
The
The time
so-
before Corey, that's what that's called.
Necromancer.
really quickly, this is off topic, but the Excel thing reminded me. Nick, did you know that there is an actual Excel competition? I got.
It's called my job.
There is like
It pays well.
There is they make little puzzles in Excel that you have to solve by deleting rows and doing all these complex things. And there's an actual like $100,000 prize pool. Microsoft.
That's called debugging. I hate debugging.
I think you go on stage and there's a whole trial you do.
So
and
public
you can win
speaking
money.
plus
The
coding
trial of
debugging.
spreadsheets.
And Microsoft sponsors it.
That sounds miserable.
I thought it'd be.
That's why they pay you. What do you mean it says miserable? You love this.
You love it. You
You
do
made
this and
an
you get paid.
Excel sheet for Necromancer for fun.
Right, but
I've seen your satisfactory notes.
that's true.
You love this.
That's true. I don't like fixing other people's Excel. Usually what I do is, what do you want to do? I'm deleting your bullshit, deleting your stupid helper columns, because they just make it harder for freaking formulas to work. Your spacer columns that you dragged to make it also pretty.
You could be doing that for $100,000. Like you could be getting rich off of this.
All right, $100,000 you say?
Yes.
All right, I'll look into it.
Necromancer.
Anyway.
Death is as common as life, if not more so. Despite this, death and decay are considered subjects of the macabre, and those willing to dive headfirst into their fascinations they invoke are necromancers. These occult spellcasters seek the ever-changing borders of life and death, manipulating the energies, vitality, and void to suit their will. The undead both serve and cower before them. While necromancers' creations are merely a mockery of life, the undead are keen to serve their creator. First of all, you are a coward for not releasing this until you removed alignment. But let us... Coward.
Take that, John Pathfinder.
Coward, no spine, 0 cojones.
No spine, I get it.
Yeah, bones. Anyway. Second off, I played a necromancer once in 1st edition, and the reason that they are complete cowards is because it is so intriguing what you can do with alignment in general, but also the concept of like necromancy and undeath. Because Tui was in a really interesting place with the moral implications of necromancy. Because they moved necromancy from just like making funny hee-hoo skeletons to healing. The heal spell is necromancy. Because it is affecting like the energy of life and death, which is a cycle that is supposed to continue, and that magic directly interferes with that.
Yep.
So that was really cool. Anyway, minor personal caveat: we were playing Wrath of the Righteous, which is the Holy Crusader Man adventure, where you play the holiest Crusader Man on a holy crusade to kill a big demon that is unholy. And I played a Necromancer. And the concept of my Necromancer was that I am evil because I am a Necromancer, and reviving corpses to be mindless thralls is evil.
Yep.
But it was for the greater good. My character went out of their way to treat the dead respectfully, and the campaign is, spoilers for the first 90 seconds of Wrath of the Righteous, starts with a town getting destroyed in this demonic invasion.
Oh my god.
I had 2 thralls, and it was a champion that had fought on the front lines, led the paladins against this that lost, and the old leader of the city. The 2 people who the most likely, if asked when they were alive, would you continue this fight in death, would say, hell yeah. And it made it a very interesting,
You've practiced this speech,
conundrum.
I can see it. Yeah.
But, I played this character for a while. I thought it was a very intriguing character. Yeah. And then they removed alignment and nothing is cool anymore. But here's the Necromancer.
Well, let me tell you, the Necromancer is, if there was ever, you would think a Necromancer is by themselves off in the swamp somewhere because no one likes them because they're a Necromancer, but the Necromancer is never without friends. Let me just say that.
I had the idea for a Necromancer character, and someday I'll do him, but he's a stage magician that keeps accidentally doing necromancy. So he'll put his hand in a hat, and then he'll try to pull out a rabbit, but it'll be a full human head that's talking. And then he'll scare a bunch of 8-year-old kids. And the entire time, it's him. It's the zombies keep coming to him, and he's like, stop, no, I just went to card tricks. That's it. So,
real quick,
it sounds like a wonderful NPC.
The only playthrough of the Wrath of the Righteous video game I finished was in the Lich Mythic Pass. The video game is very, very, very different from the Written Adventure Path. The Written Adventure Path is the lawful goodies adventure and demon slaying. The video game made it I am the pinnacle of power. That's a very different flavor wrapping. Being weird in being evil in Wrath of the Righteous was a big weird one. Anyway, during combat encounters, you manipulate the flow of life and death on the battlefield. You create and destroy undead servants to amplify your occult magics. You tip the scale by draining the life force of your foes to heal your allies. During social encounters, mind control people. It's easier. It all but says that verbatim.
I agree with you.
When natural charm fails, your magic can be just as potent at manipulating the living as it is the dead.
Occultism.
We are hardcasters. We have no hit points. We have...
No hit points? Really?
8 is... I guess it goes down to 6. I guess it's technically 6.
See?
Okay.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good for a
6
caster.
6 is literally just witch and wizard.
Yep.
That's it. It's
and more than the average
I
man.
thought Sork was 8 even. Is Sork 6?
Did they errata it?
Sork might be 6. I thought Sork was 8. But they do at least get light armor. So they're not Kemi. They're not allowed to go into battle with anything heavier than a smock.
It's great because you can spend a general feat to get medium, which is useful.
I mean, yeah, if you're in a class that never goes beyond expert.
Which you are.
Which I assume you are, yeah.
Yes.
Only simple weapons. This is a little caster, baby. Do not touch them. They are tiny and fragile. But they will have 10 million friends, I assume.
Oh, but I have so many things I'm waiting to tell you about this.
All right, so page 2.
Go on.
Basic. They are okay, where Runesmith was not a caster, this is a normal caster. You have spells. You are, what kind of caster are you?
Cool.
You are obviously a cult.
That's it.
I mean, I meant more prepared, spontaneous.
You are prepared.
You are a prep
and you have
caster.
shit for you have terrible amounts of slots.
Oh, you have the half caster thing. You have the Magus thing where you only get 2 spell slots.
No, it's better than Magus.
Does Magus not get 2?
It does, but only at your highest levels. So you actually keep your lower level
Oh,
spells.
right. I completely forgot that their lower levels actually just fall off the planet. They only get 6 or 8 spell slots.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so you get to keep all your spell slots, but you only get 2 per level.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, this is a full prepared caster. At level 1, you quite literally get 1 spell. You get 1 first level spell a day.
You don't even get the whole spell list. You have a spell book kind of thing.
Yeah, that's how a wizard is too. I mean, that's prep casters. Prep casters,
Well, clerics and druids get the whole list. So they They don't.
Oh
have to-
yeah, I forgot Druid. I honestly forget Caster Druid exists. I've never seen anyone play a Druid that wasn't like, I want to be a T-Rex! So I forgot like the Druids can cast
That's
spells.
fair. You know, based, honestly.
What? There's no other reason somebody makes a Druid. I guess Bryn. Literally the Druid on our show.
Yeah.
Okay. So they have their Dirge is their spell book.
Yeah,
Basically.
but it's music that only you can hear. It's in your head.
Does it say that?
That's
It
literally
totally does.
You're just
Wow.
going crazy playing your own
Yep,
music with dead guys around you.
Your magic is your theme song that is constantly playing in the back of your head, and you cannot make it go away ever.
No.
And you
just
just
get
pull out
Danger Zone
pieces
up
of
to
it.
yourself.
The Phantom of the Opera soundtrack is going through your head over and
You just
over
have
again.
rules of nature in the background constantly. Megalovania is just blasting. That's thematically appropriate.
That's
There you
fitting.
go.
Okay.
There you go. Bones.
So you get
Bone
grave-
jokes.
Your focus spells are called
Your
grave
pod's
spells
always in.
and are otherwise exactly focus spells. Where's the stuff? Where's the stuff? Okay, here's the stuff.
Where's the
That's
goodies?
last
Getting there.
page. So the cycle of I see flesh magician, but we'll get there in a second. The
That's
cycle-
my guy! That's my guy!
you spoke that one into
I
existence.
did it! I manifested!
The cycle of necromancy allows you to eradicate a thrall to restore some magic. Okay. So you can just thralls are gonna be a thing. You can just blow one up as one action, and you get a focus point.
Yep.
Nom.
Yep, that's right.
So
That's
now,
really funny.
as a necromancer, you get a subclass because
Everyone
honestly,
does.
Rinsmith doesn't.
Nope,
which
they
is
don't.
Sort of surprising because they're like
You
now
get 100.
with fighter and like the only two that don't. Like everybody gets some kind of a sub. Is it literally just Runesmith and fighter? They don't have any kind of a subclass. Don't have like a rogue racket or a rangerization or sorcerer
expertise. It's a ranger expertise.
Exemplar apparently doesn't either. That makes sense. I didn't read that. I mean, I did on the stream once. I went, okay.
Immediately
And
left your brain.
Yeah, I left my brain.
I remember it was kind of Greek god.
I'm
themed.
gonna level with you. I've never been less interested in the class. That's a personal thing. Nothing against the class, just like not my fantasy. So yeah, the Runesmith is in the small bucket. But we get one here. So you can either be a bone shaper, a flesh magician, or a spirit monger.
You like skelly boys,
Wow.
fleshy boys, or wispy
Now, what
boys?
kind of undead do you like?
Yep.
How many bones do you want?
What flavor
All
of
of them,
steak
some
you
of them, or
want?
none of them.
Well, the funny thing is that they can all have bones if you want them to have bones.
Okay, so this is gonna require us to go for.
Can I have one be the bones of a guy and then the other be the skin of the same guy, and it's just two of them?
It looks like you're picking bones, flesh, or ghosts.
Yep.
You pick one, and they're all that.
But they can all shoot bone spears.
Oh, that's pretty sick, actually.
Yeah.
So, Bone Shaper.
Where did the ghosts get the bones?
Bone
spear?
Shaper makes skeleton. They get Bone Spear. Well, let's see what they're looking at. I guess I'm gonna have to look at what.
It's
Bone
okay.
Spear is.
Everybody can do bone spear. So bone spear, your thrall explodes.
Because it looks like it's tied to Bone Shaper.
It's the free feat you get, but you can still
But you
take
can still
it.
just take it.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so it's like Druid.
Yeah, and you take it.
So your free
you
one
take
is
bone spear.
Oh my god. Which is a spell. So
Don't
you
worry, just
click
tap
on
on
that.
it. Yep.
Which is if you're, this is your focus spell. Okay, this is defining your focus spell.
Yep.
You
Ghosts get bones.
shape a thrall into a spear. You shape a thrall
It turns
into a spear of jagged bone.
Mhm.
Destroy a thrall. Then make a bunch of attack rolls against everybody in a 15-foot line from where he was. This is you're making a melee attack roll at range with your skeleton that just turned into a fighter jet and shot through people.
That's kind of fun.
It's like
Make
the
your
guy
guy
who
into ammunition.
Yep. You just,
It deals 1d8 damage.
look at the scaling.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big
Look at that
scaling
scaling.
Why doesn't it just start at 2d8? That's so weird.
You have to
It says-
sacrifice one die damage to get the area effect. That's common in Pathfinder.
I guess
spells.
that's true. Yeah. It is an AoE. That's a level 1 AoE.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, and then every level you heighten it, it does 2d8 more damage.
Some of the best
So-
damage scaling I've ever seen.
That's
Big.
For a
That's-
focus spell, it's pretty solid.
what? That's like 29d8 at max level.
Gets pretty good.
Am I crazy or does that go to 29d8?
Well, let's see.
Because it'd be 10
It's
or 19d8. Okay, that makes way more
Yeah,
sense. I was like,
19,
there's
19.
no way it's that high.
Yeah.
Because every other level, it's spell level, not level.
Yeah, spell level, not cast level.
So 19d8, still pretty big.
Really good.
Big.
It's really
That's
good.
still quite large. All right.
Mhm.
So it's an attack roll to do that against anyone in a 15-foot line?
Yeah, any 15-foot line starting from the guy that just turned into a harpoon. And then you make a series of melee attack rolls against each consecutive guy.
I'd be surprised. Is it actually attack rolls? It's not like reflex saves
It
or
is
something?
an attack roll.
That's interesting.
It then proceeds to increase your map by 2. So it is, you are
It just counts as 2
shooting it.
attacks towards your map. Yeah, exactly. So
You shoot the guy.
it's really hard to find in there, and we haven't gotten to it. Or
There's
is
a
that the
little
last
more.
page?
This is the last page I printed, yeah.
Okay, we haven't either.
We haven't gotten
missed it. We haven't gotten to how you get
gotten how
thrall.
thralls actually work yet. No, we haven't. That hasn't come up yet.
Well, I'll talk about it
we
once
will-
you're ending into your thing.
Yeah, well, it went. This was before that. This was before how thralls actually work.
Yep.
So, blah blah blah. So okay, so we have skeletons. You get bone spear. You get fleet. You move faster, and then all these come with a thrall enhancement. Natural thrall enhancement.
Yep.
Your thralls are well constructed and nimble. Whenever one or more of your thralls would take damage from a thing that's a reflex save, you can make a DC 15 flat check. If you succeed, pick a thrall and don't take any damage. If you roll a 20, none of your thralls take any damage.
That's cool.
Yeah, you get a chance because AoEs are the bane of thrall armies.
Yeah, it kinda
I assume
fails.
thralls have like 2 HP or
I
something
assume
One.
like that.
we'll get to
Okay,
thralls, I'm
makes
sure.
sense.
All right, so then your thralls can be meatmen. Their class feat is dead weight, so your focus spell is dead weight.
Tanglefoot.
Cause a thrall to launch itself at a creature within 15 feet, and then they meat warp around the creature. Your thrall turns into a Tanglefoot bag.
That's fun.
It's
It's horrifying to think
literally
about,
it's
but
a
fun.
10-foot status penalty or immobilized or grabbed. They have to critically fail to get grabbed. Otherwise, they're just immobilized or have a speed penalty.
Mm-hmm.
And their thrall enhancement is you can still make use of a destroyed thrall's flesh. When a thrall is destroyed, you can turn the space it was in into difficult terrain. You just leave a meat pile.
Yep. You have to wade
now,
through it.
These are the
That was a
world's
guy.
the worst combination of zombies and flubber that you're just playing with here.
That's actually my favorite one. Actually, it's super useful.
Spirit Monger. You make ghost. Your level 1 spell is Life Tap. 30-foot range. Pick a thrall. Give him the suck. Thrall goes. Oh no, he gives someone else the suck.
Yep.
The thrall moves 30 feet. Picks a guy who makes a fortitude save, and your thrall dies. So your thrall just straight up jumps in his mouth. If they succeed, the creature is drained 1.
Like throwing drained on bosses.
You or an ally of your choice in 30 feet heal the amount that the creature lost by becoming drained. If they fail, it's drained 2. If they critically fail, it's drained 3. Drained is max health decreased by their level.
Yep.
So,
okay.
And also penalty to fort saves.
penalty to fort saves too.
Yeah. I will say though, one thing about that is because it strides, it does trigger reactions. So if your thrall gets swatted down from a AOO, you lose your life tap. So watch out for that.
If they just blow up and die.
Yeah.
That's true.
So how we haven't gotten to thralls.
So
we
thralls-
should probably get into those.
Thralls
Yes.
it's hard to find how your
I'm
thralls
gonna
are.
level with you. I literally do not see thralls.
It's a focus cantrip, so you can cast it as often as you want.
Where does it live?
It's in there somewhere. It's going to be probably up toward the top because it's an innate thing you get. If you're trained in your class DC, you drop 1 for an action. If you're expert, you drop 2. If you're master, you drop 3. If you're legendary, you drop 4. You spawn them within 30 feet of you.
Okay.
You can flank enemies with them, so they count for that. When they show up, you can use a spell attack roll to do like a d6 damage. It's piddly, doesn't do anything, and it counts towards your multiple attack penalty. But
Okay.
it's something.
Yeah. You're desperate.
And you can flood the field with these guys.
It's under grave cantrips that you just start with the created thrall cantrip.
There it is.
Okay.
There it is.
There it is. So,
So
yes.
it's scaled. So you,
At-
level 1, you cast that, you get 1 guy, but then
Yeah,
later
but it's only
levels,
one
you get
action.
more.
And it's only
One
one
action.
action.
That's good. Can you do it more than one? Can you do it like twice?
Nothing says you can't.
Yep. You
Okay.
can do it over and over again.
So again, you could just spend time just building an army and then.
And as it is part of that action that a thrall gets to attack.
Yes.
oh, that's
So
cool.
it is both creative thrall and it is your attacking cantrip.
Okay.
So every time you, it is the thrall that you're creating. So every time you attack, you make a new guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yep, it is. Now, Thrall, though, are really fragile. They only have 1 hit point, and you auto-hit them.
Gotcha.
So they don't have AC 10, you just auto-hit them.
Again, don't know where you see that either, because that's not under the cantrip.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. Those are basic Thrall.
She's messy.
But you can get better Thralls through feats.
I do not see any of this information.
I promise you it's there.
I will trust that you are correct.
I promise you it's there.
I believe you.
There should be a sidebar that talks about Thrall. So it should be like a lighter colored background if you're scrolling through your thing.
So is there...
the
it's just
Thrall
under key terms.
Yep.
All right, they're really great at organization. Paizo, please. Okay, so Thralls are undead creatures. They straight up don't take actions. They literally can't take actions. They cannot be commanded. They don't.
They just vibe.
So it's
They
just
just
every
stand
time
there
you
unless-
attack.
yep.
Every time you attack, you just make a new dude who then proceeds to stand there and drool on the floor
They
until his
T-pose.
inevitable demise.
It's T-pose.
They have not loaded their animations yet.
Yes.
Thrall is small or medium. You pick. Must be greater than unoccupied space. Yeah, again, it does contribute to flanking. Has 1 hit points. Automatically hit. Automatically fails all saving throws.
Mm-hmm.
It's level -1 if it matters.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, but they don't
So-
move, they don't jack, they don't do anything unless you have a something that makes them do something.
So they quite literally, you are just filling. So but they do take up a space.
Yup.
Which means you are filling the battlefield with useless garbage.
Create
as you
Thrall.
fight.
Create Thrall is a cantrip, by the way. So guess what your exploration activity should always be?
Create Thrall.
Yup.
So you're
You
just
should just-
making
You
a
walking.
Thrall every 2
Man,
seconds.
every-
It's like-
Man,
Yup.
man.
As you go through the dungeon, you're just walking, but you're like, and Thrall, and Thrall, and
Breadcrumb
Thrall.
trail, no. Dead man trail.
All right,
There's legitimately a reason why you do that, though. 'Cause
hold on. They don't naturally expire.
After like a minute.
Is that in the cantrip?
Yeah.
Duration 1 minute. I was like, please, God, no, we're not
Nope.
just filling the
Flood
world
the
with just
world!
Litter them.
All right, so 60 seconds in a minute, 10 rounds, 3 actions. You generally are going to have 30 fellas. If your exploration activity is skeletons, the trail of 30 skeletons just kind of drifts behind you forever.
You use the battle
Once
map,
you are
have a lot
legendary,
of those tokens.
the trail of 120 just random skeletons abandoned in the distance behind you. Just
Slowly disintegrating.
continues on, quite literally forever.
Just one every second drops.
But it's actually worth it to do that because when a battle starts, you automatically have Thrall on the board. And that's
Not
even
that they
though
do anything, but they're present and they can be consumed for these. They can turn into spears.
they can turn
and
into bone
stuff.
spears and stuff.
I mean, I kind of really like this.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's just kind of really
Isn't
cool.
this cool?
It's
We
kind
didn't,
of
we didn't look
cool.
at a single Runesmith feat because the Runesmith class does what it does as a class. But this class does what feats you pick. Because at a base level, other than being legally a caster, we have covered everything that does. Your cantrip is slap a dude with a skeleton that just stands there and exists, and then sometimes you turn him into a rocket.
Yep.
Or whatever. So we have to look at feats to put together at all what any of this stuff does.
So I've read through them and I have come up with some build ideas.
Ooh.
Because
I immediately see at level 1 Reach of the Dead, you can cast spells out of any one of your thralls.
yeah,
That's crazy.
it's like if you want reach but gothier. You
Then
can burn your Thrall up.
They then explode for some reason. So I just kind of assume that any interaction with your thrall is going to end with them exploding.
We've talked about how fragile they are.
If you look at it wrong, it falls. There's really
They
no.
do just sort of collapse for no reason.
They are -1 level. Like, that, like they barely exist.
So I said you always have friends. They're not like friends. They're like Facebook friends. Like you have a lot of them, but they don't mean anything.
They also go away eventually too.
They also go away.
You transform a thrall into layers of thick muscle that wrap around you or an ally. The thrall explodes into pieces and is flung towards a willing creature within 15 feet, destroying the thrall and granting the creature 10 temporary hit points.
Bone armor.
I love it.
No, it is explicitly not bone armor. It is so much worse than bone armor. You just suit up in your meat man outfit. Let's go, fellas!
I love it.
I'm a meat popsicle!
You just jump into a man. Let's go, drivers. Where are they?
Oh, the man jumps around you is what it is.
Yeah, they fling at you.
Yeah.
It's like you don't get in. You have no. You're standing there and it just goes. And then your meat.
You're Jarvis.
Suit up.
From 15 feet away, too. That boy jumps.
I feel like just for that, there should be some sort of like will save to not freak out.
The gross meatloaf just flies at you.
These are your friends.
Wonderful. Please continue. I'll just occasionally punctuate your explanation with the most horrifying things I find.
So, there's a few different ways you can actually make a build out of this that kind of stood out to me. There's like I'm gonna hide behind my minions and throw spells out. Nothing really needs to be said about that. It speaks to it pretty well.
Continue.
Oh boy. But first one I think is kind of cool is you can make a crowd control build like no one else. You take your fleshy magicians that your zombies, when they die, they leave a puddle of difficult terrain. There are more feats that you can make a zombie horde, which is just an area of difficult terrain that does damage to whatever happens to be in it. And as you eat your own thralls, it gets bigger. And it's just like difficult terrain. So it looks like zombies though. So you go to kill the zombies, but more zombies just pop up. So you make no progress. It's just difficult terrain that also damages you.
They do have to like literally fight through it.
They have to fight their way through it.
That's cool.
And you can keep making it bigger. There's other things where you can make like a big multi-armed super thrall that grabs people that are next to it so they can't move.
You just have like the Hulk thrall.
Basically, it has like 40 health, by the way, so it's a little bit
Huge.
beefier, yeah. And you can basically make a battlefield control build that works really niftily. I really like the idea of it because even if they start cutting through your thralls, now the thralls are still difficult terrain. You're hitting them with stuff like you get the occultism list. So if you want to throw things like lose the path or agitate on them to make them take more damage or to lose which way they go, but now they're slogging through more difficult terrain, you can really run circles around people, and it's a cool little build.
Body shield. You throw one of your thralls that's adjacent to you. They don't jump this time. You physically throw them.
You grab them and throw them.
Placing it between you and an attacker. The thrall gives you a +2 circumstance bonus to AC against the triggering attack. This is a reaction. If the attack still hits, you get resistance to all damage equal to your level. Even if it misses, the thrall dies anyway for some reason.
Shield block, but
Well,
thrall.
he grabbed it. So that was too much.
It was,
He grabbed it, it's like a
He's
shirt or
very
whatever.
gentle.
this like collarbone comes away in your
It's the
hand.
equivalent of in a bar fight throwing a bottle in somebody's face. You just throw a whole dead guy. Just
Or a ghost that somehow inexplicably still blocks the attack. Literally an incorporeal spirit that also dies for some reason.
I mean, odds of me missing also would increase if a spirit of a man's face flung at me screaming.
Ah!
So yeah, I'm probably missing when I did it. I've got a lot going on suddenly.
Oh, they have attack of opportunity. Kind of.
They do. They
Like
do.
what, 1d4?
Bone burst, reaction, trigger, all the attack of opportunity stuff, but they're adjacent to any thrall. The thrall just blows up for some reason. Dealing some damage with a reflex save.
Yup, it just explodes.
They just...
God, Necromancer's hilarious.
It's great. It's so cool.
Necromancer's ways is so
I
cool.
love Necromancer. And remember we were talking about it's Pidawi with a weaponry? Oh,
Yeah.
you better not get into a fight. Let me introduce you to the Death Knight build. Do you want to swing scythes or great swords or axes? There's a feat for that. You can even make another feat to make them out of bone with their own super evil runes.
That's so sick. That's so metal.
It's so freaking metal.
I absolutely love that.
You can take feats like that to defend yourself, but there's tons of feats that are like get extra armor, make people near me sickened, flank you with my own thrall. And each of the class abilities also give you a general feat that make you more survivable. Like you get free toughness, you get free die hard, you get free, I think the Spiritmonger one is kind of dumb. I think it might be fleet or something. One of them is fleet.
It's Bone Guy's fleet.
Bone Guy's fleet. Yeah, and so like you get these feats, you can buff up your medium armor with a general feat, and now you're actually like a little tiny little tank that uses all these creepy things to eat your thrall to be able to better fight in melee with your gothy sides.
You smell so bad.
Yeah, you smell so bad, you sicken people.
Reek.
Literally, you do. There's a feat for that.
Osteo armaments.
There it is.
Blow up a guy next to you. He's a +1 striking decaying sword now. Pick up his leg, start swinging. He can also be a gun. If a weapon requires ammunition, you just sort of shoot bones.
He uses teeth.
Yeah, it's teeth or whatever. I don't care.
It just works.
It just is a gun now. I decided.
Oh, no, it's beautiful. They've even got one where you can use your spell attack roll for athletics checks. Like if you want to like push somebody over, but you're just so hopped up on adrenaline. You're not strong. You're just
You're
like
just so stoked to
that
be
energy, the energy of I'm gonna die. You just use that to push somebody.
What the heck? Okay, skeletal lancers.
Oh, I love these guys.
You create 5 fellas in different spaces. They all have very long 10-foot poking sticks. When an enemy makes a strike within range of any lancer, they just automatically get stabbed for 5 points of piercing damage.
Yep. Pink. But the most important.
On every turn after that, you can sustain it to move any of the thralls up to 30 feet.
Well, the only thrall you can actually move, for one thing. Most importantly, you get 5 of them for 1 action, which is crazy.
You can only be stabbed by 1 at a time. You can't get penta-stabbed for 25 damage.
No, you're not getting penta-stabbed. You're not worrying about that. You're worrying about blowing those guys up for cooler effects.
Yeah.
But really, it's 1 action for 5 dudes, which is crazy economy.
So both of these classes they've released are very like self-combo builds, it seems like, right? Like with like this, you're making your own thralls so you can use them to buff up yourself. And
you need line fighters.
Yes.
Like you need line fighters for the necromancer.
Flesh tsunami.
Yes.
It's that beautiful painting.
Melt a guy. He's now a 60-foot cone of liquid flesh for some reason.
Moisturize me.
Moisturize me.
An area in a 60-foot cone becomes greater difficult terrain.
Mm-hmm.
You can also melt a second guy if you so please. 1 dude's generally enough for the 60-foot cone of turbo flesh. But if you melt a second guy, everyone in the cone also takes a status penalty to their speeds. Or is possibly immobilized.
Yeah, you ain't moving.
Yeah.
I feel like the 60-foot cone of flesh would have already done that, but that's okay.
That's shallow. That just goes up to the ankle.
You need
They can wade.
deep feet.
Yeah,
They can wade through it.
Ugh.
No, like I said, battlefield control. Necromancer has such a great battlefield control options.
Yeah.
Small thrall is a 60-foot cone.
What was once 5 feet?
You purposely make it a little tiny guy, and then you go. And
Living graveyard. Cool. You conjure a gargantuan thrall. Gargantuan is 4 squares wide.
Yep.
With 400 hit points. It is a pile of graves and tombstones being physically held together by the buried corpses.
There's an Elden Ring
sick.
boss like this.
This is an Elden Ring boss.
Yeah.
It's wiggly. All
It
creatures.
says that.
It says that right
That's
there.
a status, yeah. Wiggly 1.
All creatures in a 10-foot emanation have to make a fortitude save or fall over. Additionally, 5 thralls just kind of fall out of this thing into empty spaces around it. Every subsequent
Just
turn,
make your own mini boss.
you can have him move 60 feet and 3 more dudes just sort of fall
Out of
it.
him. It's great.
What level? Is this like max level?
This is max.
That's
level.
max level.
It's
Yeah.
like 400 HP. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and he lasts for 1 minute, and just everyone around him. It's a prone machine. I love that even at max level, all it does is just kind of walk around menacingly. You have a gargantuan tombstone mechazord, and it just walks around, and dudes just fall off.
I guess
Yeah,
well, it's making ammunition.
It's
for you,
making
too.
ammunition for
It's
you.
making a lot of guys.
Yeah.
It's knocking people over, dropping your dudes next to him, which you will then make explode.
Because it's also, if you have the thing that you cast the spells through them too, then you can be very far away from the action
Oh, yeah.
and be safe.
Yeah.
Okay, so this isn't as cool flavor, but this is insane. They have an 18th level feat that's called Ectoplasmic Aura. You and all allies within 30 feet just have a +1 circumstance bonus to AC at all times.
Crazy good.
You have a raised shield permanently,
That's good.
and so does everyone within 30 feet of you. Enemies that end their turn have to make a fort save or just don't get to reactions anymore.
That's phenomenally
That's
good,
really good.
especially
That
at
is
that level.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
Turn off reactions.
This is a passive aura. Auto turn off all enemy reactions on failed saves, and everybody in your party constantly has a raised shield forever.
Yep.
That's kind of nuts.
What level is that one?
That's 18. That's I'm in the pretty high stuff now at this point.
Yeah. No, it's phenomenally good. Phenomenally good. Like, necromancers, ironically, are really good team players.
Oh, here's Nick's. I think this is your Giga Warrior. Perfected Thrall.
Oh, yeah, there's a guy like that, yeah.
You create a perfect thrall made of pure muscle, covered in a bony exoskeleton. I think those go the other way around. Inhabited by the spirit of a mighty warrior. He has 200 hit points. Whenever you use an ability that would blow him up, he instead takes 20 damage.
Oh, okay. You just shoot so many spears out of him.
You can.
Once per round, you can sustain to have it move up to 30 feet and punch somebody. And he does 7d10 bludgeoning damage. We had to get to 20. But we got a thrall that can punch.
If you want a pyramid head, there he is. that's basically what that is.
Okay, so he can just shoot out the cones of flesh. He can become bone spears.
Mm-hmm.
Like
he can become 5 guys that stab.
He can become 5 guys that stab.
Well, he can't become 5 guys that stab.
They use some of those directly.
Okay. No, my bad.
Yeah. But no, like, you can use him multiple times. There's also a high level one that's basically you get level 9 heroism on yourself because you take a hero spirit and
it's
put
Find
it in
Heroic Spirit, yeah, I saw that one.
And that's like, if you want to be like the
Stolen
stabby...
Valor, the spell.
Exactly what that is. If you want to be... It's all stolen. It's necromancer. So, like, you can even make, like, the Death Knight work a bit more, but, like, there's so many
You can have him throw his meat on you as armor.
That's true. Some of his meat.
Some of his 10% of his meat. Man, that's all you can handle at once.
Oh god, the fan art.
Come to me.
I'm ready.
My body is ready.
My boy.
He casts his meat out onto you.
Come to Papa.
I'm ready. Uppies.
You can make it small too. It could be a small one.
He can be a tiny little guy.
He walks
he
over
gets uppies.
And he walks over and kneecaps somebody for 70
flesh it on you.
Oh, he ate something.
He spit up.
He spit up a 60-foot cone of flesh and also absorbed a second guy into that. You were a willing ally. He can splatter his meat on your whole party.
That's right. That's right.
You can be absolutely coated head to toe.
Trust me on this one.
See, it doesn't say this part in what do you do during social encounters, but it's this. This is what you do during social encounters.
Parts of the bone exoskeleton flies off, he just grows more. Oh, well, Bone Spear, they move 15 feet, so I like to imagine he's just like Falcon punching through 15 feet of people for 19d8 piercing damage. And then you spend 1 action sustaining it, and he just backhands him too for good measure.
He just got Falcon's back air move.
You just summoned a Smash Bros. character.
You've got Ganondorf on your side.
I have my own line fighter now.
I like that there's several ways for you to make your own mini boss for the boss to fight between this guy and 400.
Oh yeah, but the
tombstones.
RuneSmith can just send him to space. So I mean, like,
RuneSmith still wins ultimately, but style-wise,
you have all of this army, and the RuneSmith pulls out his stack of Expo markers and goes, "No," and you're just gone.
Don't let him get within 30 feet of you, or you're done. Forget it.
Yeah, we're replacing the immortal snail with the immortal RuneSmith, who is just slowly walking towards you. And if he gets within 30 feet of you, he sends you to the cold expanse of the void. On a failed will save. He is hasted. He will try twice.
You will try.
So funny. These are very different style, like very different vibes from both of these classes.
Yeah, very different.
The Necromancer.
But, I love the Necromancer so much.
Is hilarious. We have definitely just added a Diablo character.
Yep.
This is just, like, silly. I don't think there's ever been a concept of necromancy and, like, raising thralls in Pathfinder that hasn't been, like, raising a thing that there is. And this just conjures 4,000 skeletons from the skeleton hole,
Which is
that
awesome.
you just carry
So
around
good.
with you at all times, of course.
Just
And,
be really on
and
it.
if you're doing it right, you're constantly emptying that bucket of skeletons out as you walk around.
And there's just skeletons everywhere.
Everywhere.
You're just walking, making sure there's always a skeleton adjacent to you, and since they can't walk, you just keep making new ones every 10 feet.
Mhm.
Like,
Imagine you sneak away from something, so he turns around and turns back, and there's just a skeleton where you were.
Just T-posing.
Like, again?
You can put a hat on it to try to make it blend in.
Put Groucho glasses
Yeah.
on.
so there's a solid line of skeletons.
I wonder
wherever
where the
you have
necromancer went.
been. Follow the line of T-posing skeletons. I love that they don't do anything.
No,
they're
they just
completely
vibe.
incapable of doing anything.
So,
they are summoned and they smack and then they forget how to fight and just stand there until they blow up to do something later. Like,
What a sad existence they have.
Don't think about it too
But they're
hard.
funny.
they are
They're really funny.
They're really funny.
funny little man, the
Anyway,
necromancer.
Necromancer seems like a ton of fun. I would
Yeah,
love
this
to
is-
play a Necromancer.
Absolute clown fiesta.
RuneSmith feels like a
needs a little
very
work.
smart person could figure out how to make it work too well.
RuneSmith is absolutely the 4,000 calculations a second, all of them wrong character.
Yeah.
For sure. But the thing, I am terrified of things that just happen with no save.
Yeah.
Especially when they happen at a 30-foot range infinitely for 2 actions.
Mhm.
That's, I would say you're really handicapped by what you can really apply as a passive effect for a room. But clearly they just didn't care at all because you have one that's just minus 20-foot speed. Again, nothing resists that. It just happens.
Yeah.
Just like, see ya.
They can
So-
counteract it if they happen to be like someone who can dispel magic.
There is a non-zero amount of moderate to high-level monsters that just constantly have whatever 2E calls freedom of movement now. I forgot what they changed the name to, and we
Ah.
decided we couldn't name stuff that's recognizable. But it is still a counteract, but a lot of them do have that passively, but it's like a subset.
Yeah.
It's not a ton. And the Necromancer also does sound absolutely horrible for anybody that is like using a map.
Yeah.
Like,
you
if you're
need-
not in Theater of the Mind, you are in actual hell.
Or if you
But-
use an actual physical map too, like
I just
you'd have
gotta-
to get somebody
Yeah,
like
and you make your
tokens and
Necromancer player bring a bag of like 70
Yeah,
skeletons.
I'm rolling.
Then-
I'm bringing a roll of quarters, my man. I'm
Yeah.
not playing with that crap. And it's dick, I'll put this guy down. Well, in all honesty, like a straight up Necromancer fight, even at mid level, you're probably not going to have more than like 3 thrall on the board at any given time.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
because you need to be blowing them up, and they will get knocked down just over the course of.
Any kind of AoE is going to wipe out your entire army of thralls because
Right.
they automatically fail saves and have 1 hit point.
Correct.
So the only thing is the skeletons, you have a DC 15 flat check that one of them survives the explosion.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not hard to wipe out the army.
Yeah, I mean it's not it's not the you have this impenetrable wall of
Right.
flesh. It's like no, that can get knocked out.
Of
That's
like-
why you need friends, honestly. Like you are not a monolith who can go and just solo whole dungeons with your undead army. That's
it's
you're not that
they
guy.
They are 1 hit point goobers. And
Yeah.
they fall over and die, just to anything.
Mostly you, actually. The funny thing,
Mostly you.
the fun thing actually is that necromancers can effectively have like a 4th focus point because they can cantrip, make a thrall, and then eat it with consume thrall. And
It's
so,
also like, what's the cooldown on Consume Thrall? Did it have a cooldown, or was it just you can do
consume thrall 10 minutes.
it? Okay, yeah, I figured it probably did.
It's not infinite focus points, but it's like
Yeah,
what-
once per 10 minutes, there
Yeah.
it is. So, I figured it was not giving them unlimited focus. But they do have a lot of cool stuff they can do with their focus points. It's almost difficult terrain markers too if you're playing the flesh guy.
Quarters.
You have to not only remember all of your current thralls, but also everywhere a thrall has ever been.
The difficulty only lasts one round.
Oh, okay.
So you can take it off right away. So it's not that bad, but it's like, but yeah,
It does seem like a map keeping nightmare.
it is a lot of map
for
management.
sure.
Yeah.
But it's so funny.
It's really funny though.
I like that we have pivoted to just absolutely ridiculous classes. As much as I hated Exemplar at first, but now like there's more support for it because there is a subset of classes that just need to exist in a completely different kind of campaign. And Exemplar felt like the first. The Necromancer feels like the second because they're just ridiculous. Like they're just silly anime characters.
Yeah.
And
Well,
we're slowly
yeah.
getting more support for our silly anime characters.
Well, I mean, I also say like in any system where you what do they call like the things you care about in Pathfinder 2 again? Is it bonds or things that like you write down the things that you actually care about? They got rid of alignment and replaced it with this.
Oh, yeah, I don't
It's
know.
like
I never looked at it because I don't
connections,
care. I'm using
boons,
basically
it's
alignment.
intimacies. There's different systems call it different things.
Things that are worse than alignment, right?
Correct, yeah. So, but basically, like, you could get alignment. You could replace alignment with that system if you fleshed it out, and then having it like, and that's where Necromancer would start running into social problems because it's like, like the boons of like don't disturb the dead. Everyone in a civilized society would have that.
See, but are we even doing that though? Because we're just spawning skeletons out of literally nothing.
You can argue that during your bail hearing.
Is the interesting part of like, I feel like the flavor kind of falls apart immediately when you literally are not resurrecting corpses. You're just crapping out piles of bones.
Well, you know
Like-
what? I mean, like they don't have dog tags on them. That's true, but I don't
but
think
they
the
don't
constabulary.
I
They
mean,
don't come from anything.
that would come
Like,
down to flavor. 'Cause,
Your Honor.
Like, it could just be that you have a necromancer has like a basket on their back that's just full of different skeletons.
Yeah,
And
where'd
they
you
just
get-
kind of like
You got a
flip 'em
license for
up.
that skeleton?
Oh, you just throw flesh at them and run.
I'm a necromancer. It's like, no,
my right.
You just throw individual bones from 200 different guys and then you just summon the rest of the skeleton. So
You grow a skeleton tree.
you just throw out some little toes. So little toe seeds. You sow your garden.
Putrid. That's the one that grosses me out too much. It's a
That's
foot
your line?
tree.
Your
Foot
line?
tree's too far.
Toe bones?
Toe
That's when we
bone.
lost you?
Don't do it.
60-foot cone of liquid flesh.
That's funny.
Corey seal of approval. One toe knuckle. I'm out.
Guys, that's not funny anymore.
The feet are sacred.
No, the feet are gross. I don't want to acknowledge them. I don't want to look at those things.
imagine that they're prehensile toes, and they're like,
I'm gonna kill Nick.
I'd like to imagine that the skeletal lancers are upside down doing handstands, or stabbing with their
If I ever
broad
play
toesies.
Necromancer, they don't have feet. They've just got 4 hands. No,
How is that better?
that's awful.
That's horrible.
it's a monkey.
That's
That's
not
what
a monkey.
monkeys do. Have you never seen a monkey?
Monkey
They still have
skeletons?
feet.
They're just hands.
They
They're
just
more
have
hands.
grabbier toes, but they're still feet.
No. No, that's
The guy doesn't have
ridiculous.
like 4 Mickey Mouse gloves on the end of all of his appendages. Like the hands and the feet are still different.
I don't
Like,
know why. Monkey skeletons are just far more horrifying than human skeletons. Maybe it's
There's a
exposure.
lot of skeletons that are truly horrifying.
A hippo skeleton is
That was
terrifying.
one of the biggest things that I did not expect that I got slapped with when I went to DC a couple of years ago. I went to the Smithsonian. Is like how absolutely horrifying a lot of skeletons are.
Yeah.
They are not okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Hippo
they are-
skeletons are scary looking.
There's
Rabbit
a-
skeleton skulls are
Dolphins are
creepy.
terrifying.
Yeah.
There are a lot of skeletons that look like Lovecraftian, like eldritch abominations.
Tigers are the only ones that look like a tiger. When you look at it, you're like, all right, that's
It was like
that's a cat.
50-50 on looking like the animal and just being like, that's an alien.
Oh god, Manshaw said it. Because that's
Does
true.
it say they're humanoid?
It doesn't. There's either small or medium. That's all it
It says
says.
they're small or medium.
Monkey.
You could have monkey skeletons if you want, I guess. There you go.
They're not minions. They are undead. They're not summoned.
I mean, having like undead wolves is a cool flavor. Of like having just like beasts that are coming out and killing.
Bork, bork.
Yeah. Like that'd be fun.
Absolutely not obligatory humanoid, no.
You summon them and then they just sit.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, they can do when they come out, they can do bludgeoning, slashing, or piercing damage. So like they kind of explicitly can be whatever
Yep.
because the skeleton
Like a
slap
rhino.
is just bludgeoning.
Your ghosty skeletons can eat small rhino.
small rhino.
Yeah, your
Maybe
ghosty
rhino,
skeleton,
maybe.
your ghosty thrall can do vitality or void damage. They do void damage, but you can use your vitality. If they have resistance to void but not to vitality, they take it to vitality instead, which is kind of cool. It's a class feature. It's mastery of life and death they call it.
Army
There
of
it is.
undead badgers.
But it's their thrall enhancement. We got distracted when we got there. The spirit thrall enhancement is they can
They do
do
void damage.
spirit damage.
Yeah, spirit damage.
Spirit or
damage.
void.
Yeah, spirit.
They can do physical or spirit or void or vitality.
Options.
And you don't have to know if you do anything that would deal void or vitality damage, it automatically does the other if it will be better.
Yep.
That's completely automatic.
I
That's
also
nice.
one other class feature I do like is undead lore, because you just get it, and now all necromancers don't have an excuse to not know how bones work.
It's
That's
a
fun.
unique lore skill regarding undead creatures, haunts, any effects caused by undead creatures, or other necromancers, and cannot be used to recall knowledge for anything else.
If you have
Shut up, you know about skeletons.
Exactly. You
have
can't play
four-
the necromancer that doesn't know about skeletons. Haha.
if
It's
four
already enough of a
necromancers
meme
go
class.
into Malevolence.
What?
If four necromancers go into the Malevolence mansion, then they're just gonna tear that place apart pretty easy.
I mean, Thaumaturge also has that. I feel like I had this conversation with Sully that we just didn't bring it. I didn't take the things that like automatically detect haunts and traps because that would dilute so much
A
of
lot of
Malevolence.
that campaign.
Because Thaumaturge also has a lot. Like their knowledge applies to all haunts, to all monsters, and they can take a lot of things to like automatically detect them and know what to do. And I just didn't take any of that.
More fun.
Yeah, more fun.
Well, folks, it's 9-something at night.
We ran out of notes.
We ran out of notes. Necromancer rules.
Runesmith is broken.
Like a solid C+.
Runesmith is like literally directly broken. It is due largely to the two 17th level runes. It seems like it's probably okay outside of that. I don't know. I didn't go through all their feats. But those two 17th level runes being applied with straight up no save or anything, literally broken. Actually, literally broken. It's probably the most not okay thing that I've seen in a playtest. Like it's almost like, how did this get printed, man? Like
Playtest.
We're in a playtest.
Teleportation room. I don't think they. I guess we're the first to think of what if you just put them in a room.
What if first to think of, like, yeah, what if you, especially because they let you link it to a sigil. What if we just had a sigil explicitly designed to just send people to?
Yeah, and sigils last like years.
Yeah.
Like it's,
And you can put that over a punji pit, and then you handle everything.
Literally, just this is a 20th level, like not even 20th, it's like a 17th level thing. Just like put it in space. The only restriction was it had to be on your plane of existence. Like, I mean,
Just put it on the moon.
and that's crap because I guess okay, Age of Ashes is very specifically not the Iodara that links to other planes. That's, to be fair, they don't normally do that.
That's fair.
We had an entire campaign about why that's not a good idea. So
Yep.
like, all right, fine. Planar limitations, okay.
I mean, if you don't want to go to space, I mean, put it on a rock, throw it overboard in the
Yeah,
ocean.
let's throw it in the friggin' ocean. Like,
Yeah.
We had a campaign that established that slavery is gone, and also Iodara definitely do remain on the same plane.
Yeah.
But thanks for hanging out, fellas.
Yeah.
Joining us for our random adventure into the playtest, our very mostly knee-jerk, somewhat prepared for him specifically, thoughts on the Necromancer and the Runesmith. I'm really curious to see how both of these come out, because they both seem very intriguing. Runesmith's just got some very, very broken options at the moment. But I think if you're putting things into space, I'm pretty sure the thing you're putting into space might have some amount of answer, not die in space. I mean, sure, at a high level, like, a lot of stuff does, but a lot of stuff don't. A lot of stuff's just like 20th level fellas. You just send them to space.
It would be pretty funny though that you send someone to space and they just teleport back to you, and then you're like,
do it again.
again.
You literally do not have a limitation. You just do it again. They'll run out of teleport casts.
I mean,
you will not run out of slap them into orbit.
Will they? Because there's some things that just teleport at
There's
will.
a lot of like at will dimension to it in the world. We could do. I could do this all day.
Flick, 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 flick.
You have to get whiplash at some point.
If anything, just like a motion sickness.
They have to go, wait a second. Let's take a land
Please
back.
hold.
Okay. All right.
Stop doing that.
He comes back, he throws up one time. Well, thanks everyone for joining. If you like these, let us know. AJ's gonna go hit the end stream button in a minute here. That's why he's leaving. So, if you like this, let us know. Make sure if you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. That helps us out a lot. We have a Patreon. $5 a month gets you access to everything. And that's gonna get changed soon eventually, but that's, don't worry about that. We have Strange Aeons. Is that this Saturday? No Strange Aeon. There is
on Saturday.
It's on Sunday now.
There's sometimes a Strange Aeon on a weekend, but it's not this one. It's another one.
We're missing this one because
Christmas is happening. I don't know how much they can hear you from that, but I assume a lot. Anyway,
I'm getting into the yellow on the mic actually, so I probably just sound distant.
Good. Anyway, follow us on social media at UGT Show and everything. We have a merch shop if you want to get shirts. I forget what it's called, but it's linked somewhere.
Designed by humans.
Designed by humans, UGT show.
It's below the channel.
It's below the channel.
Below this thing that you're looking at right now.
Have a good night, everybody.
Going downward.
Plugs, naturally, easy. Go out, join our Discord.